And welcome to the Breakin Broncos podcast. I am your host, Dan Wetstein. As always, unfortunately, my co-host, Dylan Miles, will not be here with us today. He has a dentist appointment, so it is just me solo, and I do want to apologize out front. I am a little bit under the weather. I've been dealing with the flu since Saturday, so voice is a bit jacked. I'm hoping that it'll last for the full hour. I'm going to give y'all everything I got, so please bear with me and understand. I am trying to fight through this, but I'm here for y'all. I appreciate y'all. And as a good, happy start off, Russell Wilson posted a workout video that kind of gives a breadth of exactly what this man is and what he is going to mean to this team going forward. So I really wanted to start this off with that video, kind of give us some feel goods as we go ahead and start off. So here is the workout video from Russell Wilson's YouTube page.
New beginning. I'm excited for it. And these guys are out here working every day, balling. Man, I'm fired up for the journey. It's going to be an amazing journey, and I can't wait for it. Let's ride. Broncos country. We're coming for them.
That's automatic, man. Hey, let's go, y'all boys. I promise you. Hey, watch out, pick up. What y'all know about this? You don't be there for no reason, boy. Eight, 1, 2. All right.
Man, what a day. We've been getting after it every day. The mission is set in stone, you know? We're trying to win the whole thing. We're trying to win the world championship. We're trying to win the Super Bowl. And it takes this kind of level of work. It takes this kind of dedication every day. Guys like Court and Tim, they're leading the way. You know, it's been an amazing journey, so we're excited. It's just the beginning. And, you know, we're putting the work in. Broncos country, we're ready. We're ready. We're getting ready, too. We're going to be that much better for you. Let's go. Let's ride.
Now, if that doesn't get you ready for the season, I don't know what is. Just to let y'all know who you all saw in that video. That was pretty much every skill position player plus some offensive linemen. There was Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Garrett Bowles, Albert Okwuegbunam. I mean, the list goes on and on for all the people you saw. It was absolutely great to see this. And just to let y'all know, that was not a sports complex that they are training at. That is Russell Wilson's house, y'all. So for people worrying about what his contract might be and whether or not he's willing to take a pay cut or whatever, I think the man's okay. I think he's doing all right. I don't know about y'all, but I think the man's doing okay. Again, everything you saw in that video, every place that they were, that is that man's house, okay? All those different sporting venues and all that, that is his backyard. So he is training with these guys in his home, letting them stay in that mansion of a home and really bonding with these guys. I mean, you could tell in just that short video how much those men were enjoying themselves. And so this goes much more beyond just the X's and O's. This is a quarterback fostering relationships already. Like, the man's only been in a Denver Bronco for a matter of weeks, and he's already flown out half the team to come chill at his house and practice and work out. Like, that's just that just tells you the type of player, type of quarterback, and the type of man that the Denver Broncos are going to get. So again, if that doesn't make you ready for the season, I just don't think you have a pulse. But we got so much more to talk about. That was just a quick little intro for y'all. We're going to be talking about new owners. I got some more videos for y'all from Joe Ellis talking about those ownerships. We got talking about should fight songs die. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I'm very, very disappointed in y'all. I'm going to reveal the poll results that I had on Twitter over the week. But again, I'm very disappointed in y'all. I can't believe that y'all went against me and my guy Pestilence. We're going to have a conversation about that. We're going to be talking about Broncos free agents that are still available. And also, as unfortunately, the last couple of weeks, we haven't had the mock draft Monday, but I promise y'all it is back. It is better than ever. And I can't wait to reveal what I did to y'all with this mock draft and all the fun that I had with it. And I hope y'all enjoyed as much as I enjoyed making it for you. So first off, we're going to talk ownership. There has been several new owners that have been mentioned and rumored. So I wanted to go over this. We haven't talked about this in a few weeks. So wanted to give y'all an update about what's going on because there's a lot that has came out since the NFL owner meetings happened last week. And that's where the videos of Joe Ellis speaking about the new owners is coming from. So in the past 15 months, there has been a plethora of rumors in that of what owners are potentially going to be buying the Broncos. Well, I have a new list of 9 new owner groups or owners that I would like to bring to y'all. One of the first is Robson Walton and Greg Penner. These are Robson Walton is one of the Walton family, aka Walmart family. So obviously the man's got the money. It would be interesting to see him potentially being an owner, considering that his brother-in-law is the one that owns the LA Rams and did own the Avs and the Nuggets before he had to relinquish it to his son Josh Kroenke. And we're talking about Stan Kroenke, who is married again to Robson Walton's sister. So, and we all know any one of the Walton family could do it on their own. So he's obviously a legit candidate. Next up, we have Josh Harris. This is coming out of 9 News, seems to be the one that's really reporting on him. He is an equity and sports franchise mogul that is in on the bidding process. Obviously, none of these guys are going to be confirmed. I do want to say that out front, and you'll hear it from Joe Ellis himself here in a little bit, that all of these people have signed a non-disclosure agreement, so they can't talk about it, period. And neither can Joe Ellis or anybody else. This is going to be very, very hush-hush until a final decision is made. But like the Kroenkes, Harris does hold major stakes in the New Jersey Devils, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the English Premier League soccer team, Crystal Palace. So the man obviously knows how to run franchises and very successful ones as well. I mean, obviously the Sixers haven't been as successful as they would like to be, but still, Embiid, Simmons, now Harden, all those things. So the man knows what he's doing, and I think he's listed at around a $7 billion net worth. So he obviously has enough that he can do this on his own. He doesn't need any partners, and that's why there is no rumors of him having any partners. The next and most notable one we have talked about before, is going to be the Byron Allen Group. This is the first minority potential candidate we're going to discuss today. He actually has been the only one that's come out and said, outside of obviously Kanye, but nobody cares, nobody wants it, we're not going to talk about him. But Byron Allen's the only other one that's a legitimate candidate in my eyes that has actually came out and said he wants to buy. Now, he can't talk about it anymore because he came out in a recent interview saying that he did sign the non-disclosure agreement, which does mean he is a legit candidate. If they had him sign an NDA, that means that he has gathered up enough money and has enough working relationships for them to take his bid seriously. So as much as people wanted to laugh at him saying that, he's only worth $450 million or so, then he's not going to have the capital. Well, it seems like he's worked something out behind the scenes. Again, we won't know until the final decision is made. And I do have some words from Joe Ellis that will give us a timetable. So that's a little bit of excitement for y'all coming up here in a moment. But again, Byron Allen is a black man that is media mogul. He owns several weather station, or he owns the Weather Channel, several Fox, ABC, and CBS affiliates. He's actually the only black owner of the big four: CBS, Fox, ABC, etc. So he knows how to run a media company, and the owners have talked about how they want a present owner. Well, speaking of, I'll go ahead and let Joe Ellis tell it to you from his mouth about what type of owner other owners are wanting. So here we go.
That process of interviewing, getting them to understand what the Broncos are all about, what being an NFL owner is all about, what you just said there is important to the membership inside here at our meetings. And I've had a few owners come up to me and say that, you know, we want a person that is going to be present and is going to be engaged and you know, not be distant from his or her franchise. Be very visible, be very present.
And if that is the case, they want somebody that's going to be very visible, very present. That's why I've paused on this man. I kind of, you know, moved through the Waltons and all the other ones before him. But Byron Allen would be probably the best case scenario for being a visible owner. He's a former comedian. He's a media mogul. So he knows how to work the camera. He knows how to work the media. Honestly, when it comes to all of the things that this new ownership group is going to be, it really seems like it's leaning towards a Byron Allen. And speaking of minority owners and what kind of a prerequisite that might be, Joe Ellis was asked this question, and here's his response.
I think, you know, it's not, there's no preference there. There's some encouragement to have minority ownership involved. We've got a resolution that passed here at the league this morning, signifying that, designating that as something that the league hopes to see. It's not a requirement. You got to understand it's not a requirement, but as such, I think you know, you'll see some groups step forward as long as there's one owner that can carry the 30% requirement and has a good group together that's financially viable, has their financing package in place, and has a partnership agreement in place with whoever the 30% owner is. You know, I think you'll see that as that could be a possibility of who the next owner is.
So for all of you affirmative action nuts that want to be absolutely ridiculous, like he said, it's not a requirement, it's not a prerequisite. And I went off two rich white men before I ever even got to the first minority ownership group. So again, yes, the NFL wants a minority owner, but they are always going to go where the money goes. That's just how it works. That's how business works. You follow the money. You want to understand these people. You want to understand what makes them tick. It's really simple. It's not as complicated as people want to make it. Just follow the money, stupid. That's just how it is. Follow the money and you will always figure out the answer that you're looking for. But with that being said, a lot of people have asked, what kind of a timetable are we looking at? How long do we have to wait before the Broncos finally get their new owner? Well, Joe Ellis was again asked this question, and here is his response.
Yes. Regular start of the regular season. I really believe that we can have a new owner in place by that time. Don't hold me to that as a guarantee, but I do think that that's a realistic timetable.
So, again, it looks like all signs are pointing towards the Broncos having a new owner before the beginning of the season. So, for all of you worried that this is going to be long and drawn out any more than it already has been, well, it looks like we finally have an end game, which looks like to be, by all accounts and purposes, having a new owner in and running things before week 1 of the regular season. So, there's that. Again, Byron Allen's group. It just, to me, every time I hear something come out about this ownership group, everything just keeps pointing to this group, the Byron Allen group. Now, there are a couple of other ones that, you know, kind of meet the same criteria and make you want to believe that that might be where they're going. That's going to be, wait, let me find these guys. There we go. Badad Egbali Jose E. Feliciano, and Kwanzaa Jones. This is another group. There's a natural Puerto Rican, a black woman, and sorry, what's the other guy? I don't want to say where they're from wrong. Sorry, guys, bear with me. Iran. Sorry, I wanted to. I'm glad I looked because I was about to say Iraq. But yes, Egbali is from Iran. Feliciano was born in Puerto Rico, and Kwanzaa Jones is a black woman. So you want to hit all of the minorities in one shot? Why not go with this group, right? They got them all. Again, I don't want to make this sound like this is affirmative action. It's not. It's really not. I mean, look at the NFL. Do they look like a corporation or business model that really is going to do something just simply because it makes fans happy? No, they've never done that. It's always been about the money, always, and it forever will be. So again, all y'all people that want to think that the NFL is nostalgic and all this, they're not. They're not. They're a business. They are not a human. They have no heart. They have no soul. They don't care about your fifis. The only thing they care about is their bottom line, period. And they will never change or do anything differently unless you affect their bottom line. Now, that started to happen a little bit over the last couple of years, but still not enough to spur permanent, big time change. Something we're still going to have to fight for. But there's a lot of possibility that the NFL could get their first minority owner. And it seems like they are really, really trying to get there. The next one up would be Todd Bowley. He is not a minority owner, but he actually owns DraftKings and is the co founder and chairman of Eldridge Industries. This one seems way too far fetched for me. This is going to be the first guy I knock off this list and just can't believe. I don't see how the NFL suspends Calvin Ridley for a year for making a $1,500 bet and then turn around and sell a team to the same company that got Calvin Ridley suspended. Like I know the NFL is known for hypocrisy, but I think even that is a step too far for the NFL. So Todd Bowley is going to be the first guy that I can't believe and I can't see how the NFL is going to allow a man that owns a betting company to own a team. Like y'all want to talk about, you know, NFL players and other athletes shouldn't bet on sports because they can affect the outcome of a game. Imagine what an owner can do. The one that has absolute control over the entire roster. So anybody that takes that seriously, it's either they know something about the NFL being more corrupt than even I can believe, or they're absolutely ignorant and not actually looking at the grand scheme of things. I'll take the latter, but it could always be the former. The next guy, the one that I've really kind of pined for because I just love the story, it's Robert Smith. He's another minority candidate. He's a black man that actually grew up in Denver, grew up a Broncos fan, and is the richest black man in history. Not just the world now, but the richest black man in history. And he lives right here in Denver. Well, at least one of his homes is right here in Denver. Again, he's the richest black man in history, so I'm sure he's got multiple homes and multiple residences. So, but he is a Denver native. He'd fit all of the criteria. The one thing that kind of makes me pause and again makes me lean more towards the Byron Allen group now than the Robert Smith, just buying the team on his own, is the fact of Robert Smith likes to be in the background. Most people did not even know who Robert Smith was until this whole process started, and everybody around Denver kept trying to link the man to him, even though his representatives on multiple occasions have said that he has no interest in buying the Broncos. But again, if he signed an NDA, that would be the perfect response, right? But we won't know until after the process whether or not he even put in a bid. But again, there are also multiple sources saying that he is not planning on it. So again, another reason why I'm leaning more towards the Byron Allen group. Then you obviously have Jeff Bezos. We've talked about him at length, so I'm not going to go too far into him. He just obviously has all the money. This is why I'm saying, really, if anybody can outbid anybody, it's Jeff Bezos. Bezos has the money to literally outbid anybody on this list. So there it is, guys. What do y'all think? Who would y'all really like to see? Again, I have my preferences, but I'd love to know yours. So let me know who you would like to see out of these candidates of being the next owner for the Broncos. And while I talk about that, let me go ahead and jump back here, check on my comments again. I'm by myself, so I apologize. Nope, we ain't got none. So we'll go ahead and move on down. I do now notice I have more people in here than I have likes. Please, 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 I will beg you if I need to hit that like button, hit that share button. They're free for you, but I promise you they are absolutely priceless to us. So please go ahead and hit that like button if you're watching, and we would really, really appreciate it. So on to the next topic here. I think we've talked enough about owners. Next one is one that's, like I said, near and dear to my heart. I hate fight songs. I think they are one of the dumbest things ever invented by man. I know I'm probably going to get some hate for that because even my own poll kind of backfired on me. I'll show you all that in just a second. But yes, me and my guy at Pestilence on Twitter. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's an entertaining follow for sure. I'm just let's see. Hold on, guys. Sorry, my system's being stupid. Okay, well, we're not doing that. Doing Chrome tab. There we go. Sorry. Had some technical difficulties. I appreciate y'all bearing with me, but we are back up. There we go. So, as I stated here, born out of an extremely intellectual conversation between me and my fellow Bird Gang Sports Media Network hosts and analysts, a great debate has arisen, and me and my guy at Pestilence, you got his Twitter right there, both agreed that all fight songs should die. Unfortunately, Philly fan bias, I do believe, skewed these results. There, right now, we have 71.4% to not cancel fight songs and 28.6% to cancel fight songs. I mean, the people have spoken. It is what it is. But I am extremely disappointed in y'all, and I need my faith in humanity restored. This is insane. I don't understand how people can enjoy a bunch of grown people singing a children's song in public as a wonderful thing. I can't understand it. I refuse to understand it. But again, y'all have spoken. Again, I blame Philly fans, but it is what it is. Y'all say that they shouldn't. I guess they shouldn't, but I still stick by my guns, and I believe all fight songs, I don't care how old they are, how dear you hold them. As y'all have known, I don't care about your fifis. I just speak the truth. I'm just here to tell y'all they should all die. And I am very disappointed in you all. But I still love you. So there's that. I just wanted to make a quick note of that. Next off, there are 16 Broncos that have yet to sign. These are Broncos that were on the 2021 roster that have yet to be signed. These include players such as Bryce Callahan, Kareem Jackson, Melvin Gordon, etc. So the question is, who would we like to see, and if any, be signed? So I'm going to leave that question to you all. Me personally, the only player I would like to see get signed, well, I guess there's two. That's Kareem Jackson and Kenny Young. I believe they would create great depth and versatility in the defense and the offense. So those are my two guys. But who are y'all thinking? Who of the remaining Broncos would you like to see signed? Kareem Jackson, Bryce Callahan, Melvin Gordon. Go ahead, hit the DMs, hit the Twitter, all those things. Let me know who you would like to see signed. Then next up, we have a talk about Miami QB De'Aaron King. He actually had an extensive workout, as they say, with the Denver Broncos here a couple weeks or last week, where they ran him through paces, and it seems like they're looking at him as a quarterback. A lot of other teams seem to be looking at him as a gadget player, a la Shoeless Jackson, friggin' Taysom Hill. There's the name. That's the name I was looking for. Like a Taysom Hill. Uh, he's a much smaller version of Taysom Hill, but a much shiftier one. He also did play wide receiver for a season or so in Houston, and he's also played running back and obviously quarterback, where he's had his most success. A lot of people like to say that I know he's capable of playing wide receiver, considering he hasn't played wide receiver since he was a freshman. I really see this as being the guy's 5'9", so he can't be a quarterback, even though the Broncos are sitting there with a guy only an inch or so taller than him. Um, I really like De'Aaron King as a quarterback. I mean, yeah, I think you could maybe move him around a bit here and there for gadget plays, but the whole converting a quarterback into something else from college into the pros just really normally doesn't work. The reason why guys are successful at these positions is they've been playing it since they were kids. You know, you can't play quarterback from the age of 5 to 20 and then all of a sudden just turn around and become a tight end or a safety or something. I mean, there's a couple that it's worked, like John Lynch went from being a quarterback in college, moved to safety, excuse me, and then became a Hall of Fame safety in the NFL. So, can it happen? Yes, but the transition has to happen in college. The transition trying to transition when they come into the NFL, it's just a waste of time and resources. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of off the top of my head of a single successful situation where this has happened, where the quarterback didn't change positions until after he was drafted. I mean, well, I guess one just came to my head, but even then, he really wasn't that successful outside of quarterback, and that is Cordell Stewart. Slash. I mean, he was the first real great Taysom Hill version of a quarterback, but he was so much better as a quarterback than anything else. I mean, he had several easy drops as a wide receiver. He tended to fumble as a running back. I mean, he had great plays. He'd make electric plays. But I honestly believe if Cordell Stewart was given a legit shot to be a true quarterback from the day he stepped into Pittsburgh, he would have been a great quarterback. Watching him at Colorado University was an absolute treat. I mean, the throw from him to Michael Westbrook and the Hail Mary that got him the national championship. I mean, I'm going to remember that to the day that I die. So I absolutely loved the kid. But again, it was stereotypes. It was ignorance. And that's exactly what's happening with De'Aaron King. I hate to see it again. I hate to see that all the stigmas that were broken that allowed a Kyler Murray to get drafted number 1 overall or a Baker Mayfield to get drafted number 1 overall are all being reset because of stupidity. This kid can ball. De'Aaron King can ball as a quarterback. So I really want to see a lot less of people trying to do everything they can to justify the ignorant and possibly racist push to turn this kid into something other than a quarterback. I don't care that he's 5'9". I don't care that he's under 200 pounds. How have we not learned with Kyler Murray that can be successful? How have we not learned with Russell Wilson that can be successful? I need people to pull their head out of their hiney and recognize that size and all that doesn't always matter. I know this is football and usually bigger, badder, faster is the way to go. But every once in a while, you catch lightning in a bottle. And lately, it's been a lot more often because people got over their ignorance and stupidity. So that's the main reason why I wanted to bring this up. I honestly believe the Broncos are looking at him as a quarterback. I think he's Russell Wilson light. I'm not going to sit here and say that the kid is going to be the next Russell Wilson, but I think he has the ability to do a lot of the things that Russell Wilson is capable of doing. And is actually a little bit more mobile and a little faster and shiftier than what Russell Wilson is. So I think he would honestly be one of the perfect developmental quarterbacks to sit behind Russell Wilson and just learn and either take over down the road or become a valuable trade chip that they can turn around and recoup some of these picks that they've lost in the Russell Wilson trade. So there's a lot of possibilities here, but the main thing I wanted to say is all you just ignorant a-holes out there that are trying to push a narrative, shut up. The kid's a quarterback. Deal with it. I don't care what your bias. I don't care what your preference is. I'm tired of hearing the very, very thinly veiled dog whistles that y'all are putting out about this kid. And so I promise y'all, I'm going to be watching. And if y'all haven't learned, I will call you out. And I will do it in every aspect possible. So either get your ish together or you're going to have me coming for you. Y'all know I don't play about these things. I don't play about racism. I don't play about ignorance. I don't play about inequality. So I'm not going to name names yet. I'm giving y'all one chance and one chance only. The next time I see something ignorant printed about this kid, I am blasting you on every social media I have and every single thing that I could possibly do to get recognition for your ignorance. So be very, very careful, sports media. I'm watching. Anyways, on from that. Next up, we're going to go ahead. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. Let's jump into our mock draft. Go ahead and get this pulled up for y'all. Hopefully, we don't have the same technical difficulties. Just stop sharing that one. Shaw. There we go. And we are shared. Make sure everything's set up properly. Perfect. Appreciate you, Mr. Wolf. I'm going to tell him every day, brother. I don't play with this junk. I'm tired of it. Anyways, let's get to happier, funner things here. Next up is this is a 7-round mock draft that I did. I had a whole lot of fun with this for y'all. So we got a lot to talk about. That's why we're going to go ahead and jump in here now. All right. So I made a lot of trades because I honestly believe this is what the Broncos are going to be doing because they need to recoup some of these draft picks they've lost in the Russell Wilson trade. So here's the first trade I made was in round 3. I gave up my pick 75. I moved back so that way I could pick up. I ended up picking up a 2nd-round pick next year from the New England Patriots plus a 4th and 5th just for number 75 overall so that they could get. It kind of hurt me to give this guy up because this is a guy I've had in my mock draft every single week that I've done this. And that's Brian Asamoah because he reminds me so much of Elvis Dumervil. But that 2nd-round pick for next year was just too good to pass up because y'all forget the Broncos don't have a 2nd-round pick next year. So if they're able to recoup a 2nd-round pick, they got to take it. They got to take it because otherwise they're going to be waiting until round 3 and probably the end of round 3 because of how good Russell Wilson's going to be to get their first pick in next year's draft. So that's why I went ahead and made that. But that was after I made my first pick, number 64 overall. I stayed put. I know there's a lot of talk about the Broncos moving up. I just don't see that being the case. The reason I say that is because, again, the Broncos don't need to give up more picks. They need to recoup picks, especially for next year. Any chance that they get to recoup picks for next year, where, again, they don't have a pick until probably the end of round 3, they really need to take it. So, but first, I had to do this because I know a lot of people are thinking that DJ Jones is going to be the replacement for Mike Purcell, but this would actually give us an all Jones line. This would mean DJ Jones takes over the right end position, and you have Draymond Jones at the left end position, and then Travis Jones would be the nose tackle, just beast of a man. This man's 6'4", 325 pounds, and a great leader. He reminds me of Vince Wilfork. I know I've said this before, but he's just a manimal. He is a dancing bear that is just absolutely insane when it comes to his athleticism and his size. When he actually went to UConn, he was actually bigger. He was 360 pounds at 30% body fat, but was able to go off and lose 35 pounds and move that down to 13% body fat. So the man excuse me. So the man obviously has a great work ethic and is just an absolute consummate professional in the locker room. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really trying to fight through this. I apologize. Um, excuse me 1 second. Sorry, guys. I had a cough and I didn't want to do it in your ears. So, anyways, back to Travis Jones here. This kid would put a whole new level to this Denver run defense, especially with the DJ Jones. I honestly believe DJ Jones is a much better athlete and pass rusher than people give him credit for. I just don't think he's been put in the right positions to do these things. I believe he can take over for and do even more than Shelby Harris ever did with his size, length, and athleticism. So I say kick him out to an end position, grab Travis Jones here at number 64, shove him in as the nose tackle to rotate with Mike Purcell, and then Draymond Jones on the other end position. And this defensive line would be impossible to move. The size and strength and agility of this defensive line would be insane if you add Travis Jones to it, and you did it by standing pat at 64, not giving up any extra picks or anything, and solidifying the middle of this defense. Next up is number 76, because this is what, as I showed y'all, I traded away 75 for round 4 and 5 picks from New England, and then a round 2 pick next year. Well, there was a guy I just could not bypass. I could not risk him disappearing. So I was able to trade right back up to number 76 and also picked up a round 4 pick in 2022, number 110 overall, and a 6th round pick next year to go ahead and try and supplement those missed picks from the Russell Wilson trade. And that is where I ended up getting Tyreek Smith. This kid has all the tools. He is dripping with just everything you want in an edge rusher, and he is so versatile. Like you'll see. No, I'm sorry. I just completely lost my train of thought. I apologize. But he's literally able to win from all angles. There we go. I'm trying to get into his pass rush. He has great hands, great hand placement. He has a lot of power in his hands, but he's also very quick and has a really good get off. So, and his motor is always, even with all of that talent, he still has a motor that runs constantly hot. He is always moving, always trying to get everything that he can from every single snap. And when you're talking about a guy that has all the tools on a big school to still have that tenacity to want to work hard, just speaks volumes to the type of player that you're getting. So first off, we end up solidifying the defense. We got nose tackle, edge rusher. Next up, we have pick number 89, which I believe was another trade here. Yes, I made a trade with Buffalo. Again, I really wanted Troy Anderson out of Montana State, a very versatile player. If I could talk, I apologize. I promise I'm getting through this, guys. But I was able to move up, get pick 89 in this year's draft, plus a 5th and 6th rounder next year for both the 4th and 5th rounder, pick 110 and 145 overall with the Buffalo Bills. So I was able to move back up to 89 and grab this kid right here, Troy Anderson, linebacker out of Montana State, small school prospect, but he is literally the most versatile player, as you can see, in the NFL draft, even more versatile than Tyreek Smith. This kid, he was a two-way player in both high school and college. He played quarterback, running back, and linebacker at Montana State. If that doesn't speak volumes to his athleticism, then you don't understand football. That's all I'm saying. Now, for real, this kid has all the potential to just be an absolute game wrecker and matchup nightmare for offenses. This is a kid that can cover tight ends, pass rush off the edge, blitz up the middle. I mean, and he has a quarterback's mind on the quarterback of the defense type position. So I think he would be a great add and depth. And at first, he'd probably be mostly a special teams player, but he definitely has the ability to turn into a starting middle linebacker in a 3-4. I know this here says that he's a weak side linebacker, special teams player for a 4-3, but the weak side inside linebacker position in a 3-4 is essentially the same thing as a weak side linebacker position in a 4-3. So, or outside linebacker position in a 4-3. So I honestly believe he would be completely comfortable in this defense, especially with how it's going to be a multiple front. They're going to be moving guys around constantly, disguising things. The name of the game with this defense is going to be versatility and disguises. So this kid gives an absolute chess piece to Evero and that defensive staff. Next up, we have pick number 115. I don't believe this was a trade. No. Okay, yeah. One was an actual Broncos pick that they had before. And I snatched up a fellow Alabama Crimson Tide to go on the opposite side of Pat Surtain. This kid, he has all the length and size you want in a cornerback. The reason he's going to fall this far is simply going to be the fact that he has a little bit of limited athleticism. But the fact that this defense is going to be really zone heavy is going to be perfect for this guy. Plus, it's going to be match zone, a lot of man-to-man. This guy's a real physical corner that loves to get his hands on the receiver and disrupt the routes. And I think would be a perfect synergy to add to that cornerback group as with another outside threat that could pair and potentially be the starter on the opposite side of PS2 as soon as this year. Like the kid has that amount of talent. It's probably going to take a year or two to really get to his full potential, but he has the ability and obviously the coaching from Alabama to make that leap and become a starter at the next level. Next up, we have the ultimate replacement available in this draft of Noah Fant. This kid's a little bit smaller than Noah Fant, but much more athletic. He's faster, quicker. Short area quickness is great. His hands are great. And he actually is successful at tight end screens. Hopefully it's something we don't see much of in this year, but he is definitely that athletic that you can use those screens to the best of their ability. But again, just a big body with a lot of speed that can add a lot to the middle of that, to the middle of the hashes to open things up in the middle of the field for Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson loves his security blankets, his athletic tight ends. You look at Gerald Everett, Willie Dixon, et cetera, Jimmy Graham, all those all those guys that he had up in Seattle. So I think him and Albert O would be a great pairing to have in 12 personnel. Like Okonkwo, he's probably not going to see much of the field when it comes to rundowns in the NFL. His run blocking is not that great. He has a little smaller side for a tight end, but I do believe with the right coaching and right mindset, he could really shore that up and help get himself on the field a lot more sooner rather than later. Then our final trade and our final move, because after I got Okonkwo, I kept thinking we needed another playmaker on offense. I know I've gone really heavy on the defensive side here, but I do believe that the defensive side has more holes than the offensive side, and I believe the Broncos will shore up their right tackle position somewhere other than the draft. With how far back they are in the draft, I just don't see a guy that they're going to be able to grab and plug and play. I mean, there's a couple of, guys here and there that might be able to, but this draft I have here just feels like a lot more instant impact than it would be otherwise. And that's why I went ahead and made one last trade. It was right here. I traded rounds 4 and 5, pick 125 and a 5th rounder from next year to the Miami Dolphins for a 5th and 6th rounder this year and a 6th rounder next year. And this is what allowed me to get one of my favorite prospects in this whole draft, and that is Velus Jones Jr. out of Tennessee. He is a slot receiver / returner who has all the speed you could ever want. If I remember correctly, I believe he ran a 4.32 at the combine officially. And I mean, just absolutely insane burst. If y'all want to see a fun highlight reel, go look up Velus Jones Jr., Tennessee on YouTube, and you will see just a veritable human joystick out there just wreaking havoc with his speed and agility. Another great thing that pops out on a tape is that it's not just straight line speed. That's why he's such a great returner. He has great short area quickness. So there it is, guys. That is my draft. And out of it, I was able to pick up a second rounder and 2 sixth rounders and a fifth rounder for next year's draft. So I was able to pick out 6 players out of the top 125 and add multiple picks for next year to add to the war chest that had been somewhat depleted with the Russell Wilson trade. So, what do y'all think? Let me know. I'm going to go ahead and post this up on the Twitters and the Instagrams and all of those things. I had a lot of fun with it. I think that this would be one of the most perfect scenarios for the Broncos to come out of it with, completely shoring up that defense and its greatest weaknesses, adding some playmaking ability to the offense, and then supplementing that throughout free agency and undrafted free agency afterwards. But again, I want to know what you think. What do you feel? Is this a great draft to you, or would you like to see something different? Just let me know in the comments, let me know on Twitter, etc. And we can have ourselves a nice, good conversation. But I am sorry. I know we're not quite at an hour, guys, but my voice just can't take it anymore. I'm sure y'all can hear it. It's really starting to go. So I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I really tried to fight through to the full hour, but I think I am at my wit's end here and I just can't talk anymore. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. As always, for the Answers 42 Media Network, for the Breakin Sports Media Network, I am your host, Dan Wetstein. Next week, I'll have Dylan back with me after he gets his teeth taken care of. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Make sure, again, like, share, subscribe. All of those things matter. Go to the YouTubes, go to the Twitters. All the links are down in the description. So you don't have to go hunt for anything. Just go down to the description, click on the See More. Every single link for every social media that we have is there. Please, all of y'all, just go over there, hit all the buttons, all the red buttons, launch all the nukes. Let us know that you love us and care. We love y'all. We care about y'all. And as always, don't question the blue.